Meanwhile, a symbol of our freedom needed the help of a Good Samaritan and a team of experts after it was found injured but alive in Osceola County, Iowa. The bald eagle, named Buckbeak by its rescuers, was found by a farmer near Ocheyedan. After hours of monitoring the eagle and with no progress, the farmer called for help. When wildlife rehabilitation experts from Homestead Small Animal Practice in Spencer arrived, they noticed Buckbeak's wings was still in a wheel well and an old car.
So he just was literally just jammed in the wheel well. So we had to go, and we were taking flashlights and just kind of breaking down the tire around his wing. And we eventually got it out, and miraculously he didn't have any fractures or anything. It was just like soft tissue injuries.
Buckbeak spent a few days at the clinic for physical therapy for his range of motion and to get antibiotics to allow his wounds to heal. His stay was just long enough for him to prepare to return home.
I didn't want him to stay too long and start getting muscle disuse, atrophy, or anything like that, because we always worry about that, especially with the big guys that are really heavy. He was almost 12 pounds, so he was a big boy. So I didn't want him to get any kind of weakness with his wings.
Buckbeak was released on the same farm where he was found so he could safely return to his home. Buckbeak's rehabilitation wasn't cheap. If you would like to contribute, that information will be available inside the story. It's on KTIV.com.